Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the New York Sports Take. Matt O'Connor joined alongside the great Andrew Nadler. Drew, fantastic college basketball all weekend long. Kind of started hot. I mean, with Siena almost upsetting Duke and whatever, cooled down a little bit. But the Johnnies certainly provided the thrill the other night. We're going to talk all about it. The crazy finish, the heroes, Patino. Duke coming up next, but first off, how you doing? How you feeling?
I'm great. It's always a pleasure to be on the show with the great Matt O'Connor, and I'm
Yeah,
excited.
no, it's exciting, man. And before I really go anywhere, as far as we're going to talk about all the plays and everything that was important in the buzzer beater win for St. John's. They just barely get by Kansas. They had big leads all throughout this game. 14-point lead. They were up 14 with 6.5 minutes. The ball in Zuby's hands with an open look from 3 to maybe extend it to 17, and then by the final minute, it was tied. It was absolute pandemonium, chaos. But I got to say, I had so much fun watching this basketball game. If you paid any attention to St. John's over the last couple months, and let's face the facts right off the bat here, most of us people who are along for the ride right now are bandwagon St. John's fans. We weren't watching their non-conference games. We weren't watching when they were struggling mightily in the beginning of the season, and they were 9-5 on January 3rd after some tough losses to Auburn and Iowa State. And then the pinnacle of their struggles was at the Garden against Providence on January 3rd. They fell that game. I was actually in the city that day. It was the Friar Faithful was making their presence all over New York. But pretty much, 9-5. Looked like they were down a slippery slope. Could be a very disappointing season for them coming off of last year where they obviously won the conference outright in the regular season, then the conference championship. Really started the complete turnaround of the St. John's program. But then this year, I mean, I think they had 9 new players. They're going to have 10 new players coming in next year. And it looked like this roster, the pieces just weren't fitting, especially in the backcourt with their guards. Didn't look like good for them at all. They've won 20 out of their last 21 games, or maybe it's 21 out of past 22. It's been remarkable. I love watching this team. And Drew, I mean, the last 6.5 minutes down the stretch there, at various points, you're just thinking it's just a matter of time before Kansas takes this lead, and they're probably going to keep it and win this game. It was unbelievable.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's like as you said, it's like at the 6.5 minute mark, Zuby misses the 3, which most likely would have been the dagger, and he misses. Kansas makes their run, ties the game up in the last minute. I'm gonna be so honest, I didn't watch until the last minute. I was at my dad's watching a movie.
Gotcha.
And I turned on the last minute. Kansas knocks down the 2 free throws. I'm like, all right, this is going to OT. Like, no way. Kansas fouls, I think, 3 times in a row. Like, what are you doing? They're just giving St. John's the ball closer and closer and closer to the basket. And then
Let's get into that sequence now. I was going to
no
go.
sense. It's like they're at the other they're at their baseline, have to go all the way coast to coast. And they keep fouling, and St. John's progressively keeps moving closer to the basket. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I want to talk about that now, and then we'll progressively move backwards from there in the last 6.5 minutes of that game. And I heard Francesa say this on his podcast, completely true. You give credit to Kansas for really a great comeback.
Yeah,
they put themselves in a position where they were close to winning this game or whatever. But that was completely, utterly, and horribly mishandled by Bill Self and that Kansas team down the stretch there. Because you have 4 fouls to give in that situation. And the smart thing to do is use those fouls, but wait a couple seconds in between them. I can't remember how many seconds were on the clock before. I know there was 1.6. Was it 1 point? No, it was 3.6.
Yeah, it was like 3 seconds left.
Yeah, I think it was 3.5 or 3.5 or 3.6, which is more than enough time to not only do what Darling did, which was get a high screen from Zuby Ejiofor and cut to the basket with his right hand and ultimately won the game, but that's enough time to do a lot of plays that give you a good chance of winning the game at the buzzer. You could pass it to the corner,
Yeah,
a number of different things you could
you're able to
do.
run set plays.
You could set a legitimate play in that period of time. It was just mind-boggling as to why Kansas didn't wait a couple seconds before using those fouls. They fouled right away to the point where by the time they were out of fouls to give, there was 3.5 seconds on the clock, way too much time. You even saw Bill Self, who's an excellent college basketball coach. He's had some disappointing last couple seasons with his Jayhawks there. They haven't gotten to the Sweet 16 in a little bit. They've been round of 32 exits, round of 16 exits the last couple of years. Just poor coaching on his part. I know he was screaming at the sideline on some of them, like, what are we doing? But you got to take charge in that situation and have your guys not do that. That was completely on Kansas.
Oh, yeah,
And
it's a coaching blunder.
Yeah, exactly. It was hard to believe how they went down the stretch there. But that it is important to mention that they put themselves in a position where they had a chance to win. I mean, we'll talk about Darren Peterson as well here. Presumably Drew, probably the first overall pick in this upcoming June's NBA draft. And you said you didn't catch the whole game, but I did right from the start. I was watching this one. And you start off this basketball game, he hits 2 quick threes with good defense by the St. John's guard, Dylan Mitchell. Hand in his face, he knocks down 2 trays to start this game off, and you're just thinking,
Here we go. Here we go.
We're in for a potential beatdown of this guy dropping 40 and just having whatever he wants. Then they did a great job of neutralizing him. From that point through about 20 minutes, he did nothing. Totally shut down the rest of the first half, and then like the first 10 minutes of the second half, Peterson didn't really have anything going for him. So good job from St. John's on that end. But he still ends up with, I think, 21 points. He shot 5 for 15 from the field. Kind of similar to his last game with Kansas. Do you know who they beat in the first round?
No.
Yeah, I can't. It was
Probably some like random 13.
Right. It was not really that important. Sorry, I'm just pulling up the box score here. But he was 0 for 6 to start that first game, and he ended up with 28 points. So he's just that much of a talent. People, a lot of draft experts and people out there, including myself, worry about him with the injury history, and it was just kind of a tumultuous regular season for him this year. He sat at various points of the year for people questioning whether he was really hurt or he just wanted rest. There was a big game against, I want to say, Kentucky. It was
I know you're talking about. Yeah, he was on the bench the entire game. He didn't play.
Yeah, well,
he was calling the bench texting, right?
He was on the bench texting, and he took himself out of that game with 15 minutes before tip-off, and it wasn't like he was considered a game-time decision going into it or anything. He just took himself out of the game, so that was certainly surprising. But not to digress too far into that, you're thinking, Kansas, this might be their night, whatever, and then where it really unraveled for them was the turnovers. They had 4 turnovers over the first 8 minutes and 21 seconds of the second half. I mean, St. John's defense was suffocating to come out of the gate in the first half and in the second half. They've been lions out of the gate on defense all year long. In this 22-game stretch where they've won 21, that's really their calling card, as we all know. It's the defense. And they came out in this game and they imposed their will. They made them feel it. And that's the main thing, man. Taking away Peterson. There was some other, number 40, he's a tough physical player. He got to the line a little bit. But when you're able to take away Peterson, their offense doesn't really click. So that was their interior defense was great. Their ball rotations were excellent. So you give a lot of credit to St. John's on that time. I think overall for the game, too, they forced 16 turnovers. They forced 16, and I think Kansas had near 20. I should have the box score pulled up, but I'm having a hard time doing that right now. And Kansas only had 5 threes. And we're going to talk about one hero on St. John's in just a little bit who had 6 threes and maybe had the biggest basket of the game. And yeah, I know that Dylan Darling won the game, but Bryce Hopkins very well could have had the most important shot in that game with his 3 that created some separation with 1 minute and 25 seconds left. But and then just to recap that last little sequence down the stretch, like we said, 6.5 minutes, St. John's up 14. That doesn't go. But the Johnnies were still really not in a horrible position. I mean, you think about it, with 4.5 minutes to go, Zuby had 3 tremendous plays. He made a huge basket, stole a ball from Peterson. Then he scored again. So, he does all that, makes it a 62-53 game with about 4 minutes left to go in that game. And then Kansas went on the run. They were attacking the offensive boards like hounds. They were getting whatever they wanted, getting it out in transition fast. Bad backcourt violation call on St. John's. That went against them in that last 4 minutes. But then let's go to 2.5 minutes left. Zuby gets blocked near the basket when he's trying to put one up. There's a loose ball after that block, ends up in Kansas' hands. Peterson misses a jump shot on that possession, but it gets tipped in, made it a 1-point game with 1:56 to go. So this is as close as Kansas has really gotten all game long. They're within one, just less than 2 minutes. Rick Pitino calls a timeout, and they come out of that play with the timeout. And to me, Drew, I think it made it a 65-61 game. Bryce Hopkins hits a 3 on that possession. That was the game changer right there. We're going to talk about Darling. Amazing story for him. The first-year transfer from Idaho State. But Bryce Hopkins was tremendous in this game. He hit 6 3-pointers, 18 points, but that one meant everything. Because if he doesn't score there, Drew, if that ball doesn't go through the cylinder, you're in trouble. Kansas is going down the court, 1:20 left, trying to take the lead.
Oh, yeah, 100%. He doesn't make that, they probably end up losing.
Yeah, and if this game, thing is, too, at the end there, I wasn't that worried. I can legally say now that I do bet because Kalshi, you only have to be 18. So I'm not betting, actually. I'm prediction trading. I'm trading, whatever that means, because your money is going against other people. I am rooting hard for St. John's throughout this tournament. Obviously, Dayton's my number 1 team. We unfortunately came up short in the Atlantic 10 Championship. Still was a fun run. We got a shout out from John Gruden on Instagram, so that's always cool.
Notable?
No, our most notable, for sure. Love Gruden, love his work at Barstool. But, St. John's, I like them. I was a St. John's trader, just for the lack of, or whatever term you want to use, -3.5. Obviously, they win this 1 by 2 on the buzzer beater, so I was pissed about that. I only traded $15, so no big deal to win 28. But, so for that reason, I kind of wanted St. John's selfishly to not score a buzzer beater there if it wasn't a 3 and get it to overtime. Because to me, it felt like they probably would have won in overtime, considering for 30 minutes, maybe 35 minutes, they were the better basketball team in this game. It was just the surge from Kansas towards the end there that provided the impetus. But Dylan Darling, man, getting it done. Drew, you're a big Big East fan, man. You're at the Garden and attend a lot of these games. You follow St. John's. You don't necessarily like them, but we saw it with R.J. Lewis last year. Obviously, Zuby Ejiofor is the leader of this team. He's the best player. He got snubbed from the AP All-American team. It was only an honorable mention.
Wait, he wasn't like first, second, or third team?
This is nuts. So according to Ken Palm's ranking, Zuby was the 12th best player in the country. Okay? He was the only player in college basketball across the sport to lead his team in points, rebounds, assists, and blocks. With all that being said, he didn't even make one of the main 3 teams in AP All-American teams.
That's
the number 18
a shame. That's a shame.
It really is. It was hard to believe for me.
Not even second or third team. I think they got the first team All-Americans, right? In my opinion. Yeah. Boozer, I think Akoff, what's his face, on Texas Tech, Toppin, right? Was he first team All-American?
I couldn't tell you to be 100% on that.
Yeah, I think they got the AP top 10, the AP first team, GOAT, Yassel Lendeborg. But yeah, right. That's a shame that he wasn't even on a first, second, or third team All-American. That's a shame.
Yeah, it really is.
And I will say this, Matt, you brought it up. I'm not their biggest fan. I'm kind of a hater. He is the best player on that team. They are nothing without him. That is a damn shame.
Yeah, it really is. And to me, the bigger point with that, and you just nailed it with I don't let's be honest, St. John's, they have about $12 million that they're because of their I'm forgetting his name, their biggest donor that provides so much money for them, the famous guy that went to St. John's. He's a big funder for these basketball players, providing money for them to throw into the NIL pool. Forgetting his name, Mike Rapoli, that's who it is. Mike Rapoli makes it possible. St. John's is able to spend about $12 million bucks in NIL money annually. A good amount of that is allocated to Zuby. So they will be able to get reinforcements going into next season. I think Rick said that they're going to have 10 new players going into next year, and they will be compensated, and they will be one of the teams in college basketball that spends more money. But to me, this is why yesterday's game was so pivotal for them to win, and why if they're going to make a run and go to Indianapolis and somehow, I don't think it's going to happen, win a national championship. But even more than that, it's a major accomplishment for where they are right now. And the reason they had to capitalize on yesterday's game, win yesterday, is even with $12 million next year, you're not going to have Zuby Ejiofor.
Yeah, you're not. It's gonna hurt. You're gonna lose your best player, but I mean, we'll see what happens. Rick Pitino is one of the greatest to do it, but we'll see what happens next season.
Yeah, we will. I don't think anybody could have predicted the improvement from Rick's first year, where it was a little disappointing. I think he called a lot of the players on the team soft, were his words. Then to last year, obviously magical run. They win that first Big East tournament championships of the century, along with the regular season title. Obviously, they did that back-to-back years this year, but last year they were able to do that. R.J. Lewis, Big East Player of the Year. He was their best overall player. Then obviously the disappointing exit in the round of 32 to Arkansas. And it kind of, even though it was like happy to be here vibes, they hadn't been as good as they were last year in a very, very long time. St. John's fans had been waiting to get back to March and be a legitimate contender again. And they were a 2 seed last year. Really high seed. 3 seeds higher than they were this year. But just a bitter ending to John Calipari and the Razorbacks. But then they had to do it this year. They had to not only get back to the point they made it last year, but advance to the Sweet 16, win that game, and they did it. Because as disappointing as it was last year, that soreness, that sourness would have felt twice as worse if you came up short in the same round this year.
Yeah, 100%.
So, exciting. Just a really fun college basketball game to watch yesterday. And then, look, man, Dylan Darling, there's 3.9 seconds on the clock. That's what there was. And he gets the inbound here. I don't know if you saw this. It was all over social media today, Drew. But a really funny moment. So they call that. They have that last timeout. Like you said, they're getting closer to the basket. They're ready to inbound the ball near midcourt. But during that timeout, I don't know what play they were going to run. And Rick Pitino had something in mind. But Darling comes up to him in the huddle, and he goes, No. Let's run power. Power was the play that they ran where Zuby Ejiofor came up. He set the high screen for Darling. Darling rolled around, went to his right, which is his weak hand. He's a lefty, and obviously had the game-winning layup, tumbled to the floor. Didn't even know that it went in until after it went in, but he heard all the craziness and realized he won the game. So he goes to Pitino, no, let's run power. And one of the assistant coaches says in Pitino's ear, he's scored a basket all game. He's got a donut. He missed like his last 16 shots. And you want the ball in your hands with the game on the line? So, but Pitino, with that going through his mind and realizing that, one thing trumped that. And that was Dylan Darling has church bell balls.
That was all-timer. That is an
all-time drop on Ricky P's part. That was created back in mid-February when Darling had a game-winning 3 against, I want to say Xavier, where Richard Pitino coaches, Rick's son. And that's where the name of church bells was donned upon Dylan Darling because he's got stones the size of church bells, and he brought that to the table yesterday. What a freaking moment, man. What a win for St. John's. Very happy for them.
And they
And
get
with
matched
that
up against Duke.
and with that being said, Friday night, it's the showdown. It's Duke. It's St. John's. I might do like a little 15-minute pregame pod for that because I'm so fired up solo. Probably won't be talking to you until then. I mean, I think I know where you stand here. We talked a little bit about it before we recorded. I'm not going to ask you who you think's going to win. That's a waste of time. I can
My
answer
two
that.
biggest offs are going at it.
Duke will be favored in this game. St. John's was favored against Kansas. But what, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much of a chance do you give the Johnnies to win this game? You have to factor in Duke's guard, one of their better players, is unlikely to play in this game. And I think St. John's matches up pretty well with them. Do you think they have a shot?
25 to 35. Like, Duke, I haven't paid much attention. I watched when they played Michigan. They're one of the very few teams to actually beat Michigan. I mean, like, beat them, suffocated them. And St. John's, the biggest thing is they have to be consistent shooting the basketball, or else Duke is going to get you in their grasp and not let go. They're too good. They're too well coached. John Shire comes from the Coach K tree. And it's just like the other thing is Duke just might out talent St. John's too.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, look, in March Madness, we've had a lot of people.
It can happen.
It can happen. And a lot of people are like, hey, you know what? These Cinderella stories, these first round upsets or whatever, they're cute and fun and, fun to look at on social media in the beginning of the tournament. But then when you get down to the nitty gritty and the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight and the later rounds, and you got St. Peter's matched up against a blue blood and you get a blowout. So it's refreshing to see. St. John's does have talent. It's refreshing to see we're going to have, pretty much all the teams here left in the tournament have legitimate talent, and we're going to see hopefully good games. But from a talent standpoint, you're right. Duke has more talent on the roster, so if it comes down to that, it probably tips in the favor of Duke. But at the end of the day, to me, what it's been all about for St. John's throughout this tournament, throughout the run, and what it will mean going forward is how they shoot. Because we just know on the defensive end of the floor, they're going to bring the tenacity, they're going to bring the physicality. They're really hard to score in the paint against because of their interior defense. Their ball rotations are great. We know, obviously, the signature part of their defense is that full court press that they run. Initially, the other night against Kansas, they didn't show it in the beginning, but then they gradually showed it. And when they really shut down Kansas in the middle part of that game, throughout the second half of the first half and the first half of the second half, they were running that press and they were running it excellently. So we know the defensive tenacity is going to be there, but St. John's needs to shoot the ball
at a high clip,
particularly from a high clip from three. Have some numbers for you. They hit, 3 points. Okay, they were 11 from 35 from downtown. That's 31%.
That's not bad. You got to do better.
It's 31%. But without Bryce Hopkins, who was 6 of 9 for 3, I mean, you do the math. That would be
somewhere in the 20s.
That would be 5 for 26, which is pretty awful.
Probably in the 20%.
5 for 26 is awful. So you can't expect Hopkins to go 6 and 9 again. Look, great that he showed up in this game. I like Bryce Hopkins, a really good player, but. He was tremendous in this game, but the rest of this St. John's team, they need to be better from downtown. It's really simple as that. Zuby was 0 for 4. Mitchell only took 1. He missed it. Darling, who missed 16 shots in a row, he was 0 for 4 in this game. And I don't know what the deal is. Obviously the guard play has been the biggest inconsistency for St. John's all season long, and Rick Pitino's shifted things around. It ended up paying off in the last seconds of last game, but it's been shaky for them all season long. And Isaiah Sellers, who's a starting guard at St. John's, he took a three early on, it went in, and he didn't shoot again. And you know what? That's on, I heard Francesca say this as well. That's on Patino, that's on Zuby, that's on Sellers himself. Everybody's got to take a little responsibility for that because he is really their best shooting guard. He's a capable three-point shooter, and for him to only get up one shot and it goes in, he's got to get more looks. It's simple as that. So I definitely want to see Sellers be more involved. Ruben Prey, who's a scrappy bench guy for them, he went 1 for 1.
Big 1-7.
And Ian Jackson is kind of a defensive liability. He went 2 for 7 from 3. So yeah, it's a very important thing. Kansas went into this game and they said we're going to let them shoot the 3, and that's honestly from a coaching standpoint, that's a good strategy. You scout St. John's. It's what they do poorly. They get most of their points off back cuts and running plays to get to the rim. And yesterday, fortunately, they had a guy with a hot hand. They may need that again against Duke, a guy like Hopkins who comes in and shoots above 50% from downtown and is great for them. But they need more of a group effort. They need to get Sellers,
100%.
Guys from the bench, and Ian Jackson as well, although he did hit a couple. So great talking about the Johnnies. I said I only wanted to go 20 minutes on that, but we went almost 30.
Around the bracket.
Around the bracket. Hey, listen.
Down goes the number 1. The Gators downed by the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, the ending of that game was really exciting as well. I had big questions coming into this tournament about Florida overall.
Yeah, everyone was like they were overrated. They didn't deserve to be a 1. And the Hawkeyes got them. And now we have the clash of the corn farmers, Nebraska versus Iowa.
Who would have thought, man? I mean,
first up, Nebraska. Who would have thought? Like, they actually made it this far. I'm kind of shocked. And
it's surprising. And you know what? Nebraska, I'd have to have the information on this right in front of me, but this is the best college basketball they've played in a really long time.
It's like they had their first tournament win ever this year.
Yeah, first tournament win ever. It's unbelievable. Would they come in as a 9 seed?
Who? Nebraska? I think a 3.
Oh, really?
They were one of those. I don't remember.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, I had my questions about Florida going in here. They were definitely, I mean, you looked across the board at the other ones with Michigan and Duke and Arizona. They were the weakest one. They really were. I heard there was questions about them potentially not being a 1, but that's the way it went. And yeah, I mean, Iowa, good for them, man. Iowa State, also a really good team as well.
Number 2 seed in the East. No, not the East, the Midwest.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Both of them have had phenomenal seasons. And yeah, the end of that game was crazy. That was a great one. I don't know. The UConn also took care of UCLA. I don't know. I had a feeling that UCLA coach, man. I mean, I see so much. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They were calling it the Dickhead Bowl on Instagram. Dan Hurley versus Mick Cronin.
That's awesome. 2 bald guys, too. 2 bald dickheads.
2 bald guys. UConn takes care of business. They're gonna roll. Who do they match up against?
They have Michigan State.
Easy win for UConn. Michigan State's overrated every year.
That's a 3 and a 2 matchup. Give me Michigan State there. Michigan State has some injuries, but UConn overall, they are really banged up.
Yeah, Michigan State is the dirtiest player in college basketball.
That's true. But I like Michigan State in that matchup. I know Tom Izzo hasn't really. The last time he got to a Final Four feels like freaking forever ago. So we'll see what happens there. You can't take away. As a St. John's, I'm not going to go as far as to say fan, but as a
enthusiast. Enthusiast.
As a St. John's enthusiast / observer, I can't ignore what I saw in the Big East Championship. I mean, they blew their doors off, and I know UConn did the same thing to them a couple weeks earlier. They beat them by 32 up in Connecticut. It was the biggest blowout, I think, of Rick Pitino's basketball coaching career. With the understanding of that, I don't know. They didn't look sharp at all. They didn't even look like they belonged on the floor with St. John's in the Big East Chip. So you can't take that away. It's going to be great. And by the way, St. John's, Duke, and the Michigan State UConn game. They're back-to-back games in Washington, D.C., East Region, back-to-back Friday night. The stage is set. Place is going to be rocking. All eyes will be on those games. Like I said, they're back-to-back. Should be a really exciting night of college hoops on Friday night. So
Yeah,
looking forward
and
to
then
that.
my Michigan Wolverines play on Friday night too.
Oh, yeah,
7:30
you're blushing.
against the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, man. You gotta love little SEC versus Big Ten. I mean, that's where all the NIL money resides right there. Is that Alabama player their second leading scorer that got arrested for marijuana possession? He's out the whole tournament, right?
I
Or is he
think
back?
so. I have no idea.
I forgot his name.
I have no idea. The one thing Alabama has going for them that kind of scares me, their last game, they shot 40% from three. I think they took up 46 threes as a team. That's the one thing that is kind of scary. But, like, you know how hard it is to do that on back-to-back games, shooting 40% from three?
Yeah, especially in the college landscape.
Yeah,
it's
and
very hard to
especially
do.
against. And then, like, my analysis as the fan of Michigan, I watch a bunch of their games. It's like you can't contain their big three. Johnson, Lendeborg, and Mara. You can't defend all three.
Yeah, Lindenberg is a special talent too.
Projected lottery pick.
Yeah, I think he should be. He's been really impressive all season long. Look, man, Michigan, you could make an argument coming into this, probably them or Arizona is the strongest one. Arizona just blows teams out of
Yeah,
the
they
water.
mow teams.
What?
They just mow teams over.
They mow teams. They win in such dominant fashion all the time.
Yeah, and they have a projected top 5 pick on their team. Forgot his name.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
his name?
They played. They played fins up.
Yeah, Koa Pete. Yeah, Koa
Oh, I
Pete.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's like their projected lottery pick.
Fins up, you had all these New York teams in March Madness this year,
Whoop.
but just unfortunate circumstances for the
Bad luck in the
Sharks.
draw.
The LIU, bad draw for the LIU Sharks. They meet Arizona in the first round. One of my roommates here at Dayton texted me, "Are you a Long Island University enthusiast?" before the game. And I thought I knew where he was going with this. I'm like, yes. And are you an LIU better going into this game? And he's like, yeah.
Cover the spread.
Yeah. And I text him, fins up. 2 hours later, I checked the score.
It's
Fins
not
down,
40.
very much
It's
down.
not by 40.
They lost. Yeah, they lost by like 40, and they lost by mid-third. I think they lost by like 35 or something like that. And
Cover the spread.
they didn't even, and they almost covered. They almost covered. They were 30.5-point dogs, and they lost by 35. So they almost did their job,
Keyword almost.
but they did not. Bad break for them. You also had, the crazy New York team that somehow almost pulled off the most miraculous upset that we would have ever seen was Siena. Siena, and good for Coach McNamara over there. He's going back in a feel-good story to his alma mater. Syracuse headed back to the Orange, where he went to college, and great story for him. Syracuse was looking for a coach, and they kind of fall right into the lap. Syracuse and Siena probably only a couple hours away from each other too. So good story for them.
Across the state.
Yeah, exactly, right across. Yeah, but you know what, Siena, with them, you only have 5 guys playing for you the entire game, and you're going up against Cam Boozer and the powerhouse that the Duke Blue Devils are. They were bound to lose that game. They had no bet. They played 5 guys the whole game.
No one sat.
Nobody sat.
Funny
It
story.
was like,
I'll make this quick. Okay, who was the guy? Like Doty, right?
yes, yeah.
Doty. So I have a friend who I went with from Cortland. Doty went to the high school, like the district over, and my friend says Doty would, like, when they would play, he would just mop the floor against his high school.
Really?
Just like dominate the game.
Yeah, no, that
And I'm
checks
like,
out to me.
that's great.
Yeah.
Kyler, if you're watching this, I shouted you out.
Yeah.
You're the one who told me this last night on the phone.
Shout out to Kyler here on the pod. Good little nugget there, and we are set up. Looking forward to Friday night. Sucks that you have this pause in between all these games, but
Well, the travel days.
The travel days. I mean, yeah, St. John's going from playing, a couple days out in San Diego now to Washington, and you get to game plan
Oh, that's just
for.
terrible travel.
Yeah, St. John's got screwed, man, by their seating. They really did.
That's just bad. You got to
Yeah,
go
they got hosed.
cross country, then a team like Michigan who's going from Buffalo to Chicago.
Right. And a team like UConn going from New Jersey to DC. I mean, it's a short
Yeah,
bus
they're just
ride.
going right down the road.
Right.
But
So
that's just the way the bracket falls.
it's the way the bracket falls. And you know what? Rick Pitino, I give the man a lot of credit, obviously, because he's revitalized his program and he's the driving force behind the success that they're having now. But also, he screams, he rips his players out on the sideline, he eviscerates them. If they make a mistake, a mental lapse, or something that's coachable, that they mess up, they make a mistake, he freaking rips into them. You got to respect that in today's game. But also, he doesn't waste time with the rep. Like Danny Hurley, great coach, Hall of Fame coach as well.
Oh, he's always in the ref's ear.
He's in the ref's ear all game. I think he got fined a massive amount of money earlier this year because he actually got physically, jabbed the ref or something like that. Got way too close to him. Patino doesn't waste any time bullshitting with the refs or whatever. He thinks the officials overall do an excellent job, and calls generally are going to balance themselves out. So he doesn't waste time with that. I respect him for that, but I also respect him. I was ready for him to rip open the committee for placing them as a 5 seed, but he said, you know what, I expected that. That's just the nature of the Big East. We struggled early on in the season to our non-conference opponents. We lost to the likes of Alabama and Auburn, like I mentioned, and started 9-5 in non-conference. They were unimpressive. They lost Iowa State too, so they didn't get any real signature wins outside of the conference. Inside the conference, they did beat UConn twice, who's a 2 seed. That's why I really think they should have been higher than 5.
Well, the only reason UConn was at 2 was because of the non-conference wins. Because they beat up on
it makes sense.
powerhouse teams.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, it's just
St.
the way
John's,
it happened.
It's the way it happened, but my point there is that I just give credit to Patino for not bitching about it. I mean, I have every right to sit here on my podcast and bitch about it, but he didn't, so hats off to him. He's a wonderful coach. And
a notable St. Dominic alumni.
Yeah, and
he went to alma mater.
Yeah, for all our listeners out there, he went to our high school, and
we are all proud alumni here.
Proud, it's fun to say, but proud would not be the word that I would use to describe the way he feels about St. Thomas. He hasn't publicly said anything negative, but he has not acknowledged his St. Thomas.
If he makes one donation to that school, they probably will rename the gym after him and put a statue of him outside the gym.
Yeah, probably. Didn't they do our year we graduated? I believe Milkowski said they asked him to do.
Yeah, no, I was it was St. John's DePaul. I was at the game. It was at UBS Arena. They said they're going to try and sneak down and ask him to do the commencement speech, to be the graduation speaker.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they tried to get him to be the speaker. Because I saw him at the game, and they told me, oh yeah, we're going to try and get Rick Pitino to be the speaker.
Who's that? Who went? Actually, we should be name dropping in this podcast. But
Megan's dad.
Who?
Megan's dad was the commencement speaker, Commander McCarthy.
Yes, and by the way, no, I wasn't saying who was a commencement.
Oh,
speaker.
My bad. We can cut that part out.
Whatever. We can stop name dropping on the sports podcast.
Sorry about that.
I'm not saying anything bad about these people. And by the way, Mr. McCarthy was an excellent second choice Patino. I thought it was a good commencement speech.
Yes, we don't need to talk about our high school graduation from 2 years ago.
Yes, yeah, very, very professional and buttoned up, and a guy who accomplished a lot in his life and still was coaching soccer at Maritime, right? So,
no, Merchant Marine.
Oh, I got you.
We're very much digressing.
Yeah, very much digressing. We'll wrap up the college basketball here. We'll only spend a couple minutes. I really wanted to do like a whole pod just on baseball at some point before we rip open the season, Wednesday night. Yankees are in San Francisco playing the Giants. We're all fired up for that. But I got Drew on. I just want to hone in on two because we were arguing about them over text.
Oh my
so
God.
Let's not try and preview everything. Let's just have a little fun, hopefully diplomatic dialogue about these two players. I'll start off with Carson Bench. Saw an article earlier today from the Post that Carlos Mendoza and Mets brass had notified him earlier today that congratulations, you won the job. He will be the starting right fielder for the New York Mets on opening day against the Pittsburgh Pirates at Citi Field on Thursday. The job is his. You, my friend, will be in attendance
I
for
will be
that
sitting
one.
right next to him. I am in right field, section
Are you?
107.
Okay.
I will be in attendance.
You're
Me and Paul will be in attendance.
nice, man. Did you do that intentionally with the tickets? Get right field
No, I was
seats?
just trying to find good prices.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah. That's how we roll. Me and Drew went to opening day a few years ago. But Bench, he's the starting right fielder. You will be just a few feet away from him, I suppose. And yeah, it should be fun. Yankee, very. If you're a traditionalist here, you're going to be very thrown off by the Mets and more so the Yankees, but Mets as well. Both of these opening days are very weird, and you don't have to worry about it because you're going to the game. Very unorthodox new
Yeah, on
broadcasting
television. Isn't like the Mets
situations.
game on like Netflix?
So the Yankees are on Netflix, not
Oh,
tomorrow
yeah.
night.
So
Wednesday night, they're on Netflix. It's the first ever MLB broadcast aired on Netflix. Michael Kay, Yankees play-by-play guy, and yes, called it BS. He hates it. The idea that a streaming service is now getting in bed with Major League Baseball is probably not a good thing. And guess who's coming on pregame? Will be on the pregame panel to break down this game and give his analysis and thoughts, which is just going to be hard to. Wait until I drop this name. Jameis Winston is going to be on.
nuts, Glenn. Jameis Winston played college baseball.
I know he did, and he was very good. I think he probably could have
He
gotten
pitched and
drafted
played
in the
right field.
MLB.
Yeah, he pitched for
Yeah.
right field. There's like videos of him hosing guys at third base. It is a great watch. That's great. It's gonna get clicks. Because who doesn't?
Listen, it's going to get clicks. That's great. That's a world we live in right
He
now.
knows
But
what he's talking
I heard
about. He knows what he's talking about, but it's just so random.
it's random, but it's comical. I mean, the amount of Jameis Winston clips that you could find on social media of him just saying
The most
hilarious
bizarre
stuff. I
things.
mean, yeah, just miscellaneous comments or funny things.
I think this is like a preview for what he's gonna do in retirement. He's gonna go into TV.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Him and Russell Wilson, who both got coverage on Fox throughout the NFL
like,
postseason.
this is great stepping stones for them. They're gonna do TV.
It is, but
just
it's
really
just a
random.
weird place. Like, it made sense for in the NFL, whatever postseason. I know Fred Warner was on NBC Super Bowl coverage, and for these guys to be plugged into there, it makes sense. They're near the end of their career, whatever. They're veterans. Everybody knows who they are. But it's just for a lot of baseball traditionalists. I heard some people complaining about it on sports radio on WFAN that there's going to be the Giants' backup quarterback who has a wild personality is going to be talking about the Yankees before opening day, and opening day is a very, I don't want to say nostalgic,
Holiday.
but a
A
very
holiday.
commemorative. It's a holiday, exactly. It's very
My
commemorative.
favorite
It's
day of the year.
special. It represents springtime, even though we're now officially in spring. This is like it really rolls out the
Coming out
carpet
party for spring.
for warm weather's on the way, baseball's here, and it's just very commemorative. And to pull in these outside sources for clicks from other leagues and whatever just feels too much like something the NFL or the NBA would do, not really where MLB should be imprinting itself. But I don't mind. I'm just saying it's weird. It's less to do with Jameis Winston. I could give a crap less. I'll probably turn it on and
It's
get a
more so
couple
Netflix.
likes. But Netflix is weird, man. We'll see. I think Matt Vasgersian's on the call.
Oh, Matty V?
Korea,
I
so,
will definitely be watching. Matty V? Hell yeah.
Yeah,
I miss that guy. They need him
he's
back
great.
to be the show.
He's great. Yeah. He's a great voice. He's got a great signature home run.
How
So
are you?
I'm less mad. I'm sure that the broadcast is going to be just fine. I'm not a fan of the Apple broadcast. I think their broadcasters are mediocre.
With Don Trevor.
Yeah, Wayne Randazza does play-by-play. He's okay.
Yeah, it's all
He
right.
used to be with the Mets in the radio booth. He's fine, but not a huge fan of Apple's coverage. I think whatever, it's one night, we'll get over it. And then, anyway, look,
Then the Mets are on
long time
Peacock.
on that. Then you got the Mets on their opening day on Thursday when they host Pittsburgh. They will be on NBC. as
Oh,
they are kickstarting their slate, their package of MLB games. There's going to be a lot of. I think Netflix is just opening day. Maybe
who's
they
on
have
the call?
another
Who's
couple
on the
games.
call for that?
Uh,
I'm looking this up. No, it's Matty V, Al Leiter, and Neil Walker.
for NBC,
Yeah,
who's for Netflix? I thought
I'll
Matty
look that
B
up
was
for you
for the
right
Yankees.
now.
If you could look that up real
Yeah,
quick.
I'll look that up for you.
Yeah, so it should be interesting. Listen, you got to give good signing by NBC to go with.
It's the play-by-play is also Matty V, and then also joining him is CC Sabathia and Hunter Pence.
Okay, that's
And
for
then
Netflix.
the studio analysts, what a lineup this is. Barry Bonds, Albert Pujols, and Anthony Rizzo.
Wow. Yeah,
That's like for the pregame. Yeah. So Matty V is doing back-to-back games, cross country.
cross country and on two different networks. What a start to the season for Mr. Vasgersian. Good for him. Mets Yankees too.
Isn't Joe Buck doing a couple games this year?
I don't know.
I don't know. I heard he was. He did
He did
opening day
opening
last.
day for the Yankees last year on ESPN against
Instant
the
turn,
Brewers.
instant listen for me.
I love Buck. I think he's great. I think he gets way too much hate from people. Apparently, has a New York bias. He hates New York. He wrote about that in his book. I haven't read his book, but I want to. And he talked whatever. I don't know what it is. I don't know how it came about. And he said so much in his book, but a lot of people think he hates New York teams or has some sort of vendetta with New York fans. Not really true. I think he's a great big game caller. You hear Buck's voice, you know that it's a significant game, and everybody's tuned in. Obviously, the voice of Monday Night Football now on ESPN. So
Debacle, little argument we had.
why is Carson Bench, who let yes, okay, I have the numbers right in front of me. He completely earned the job. He had 366, 874 OPS, one triple, one double, and a stolen base, 14 spring training games this year. Great. You know what? I think the Mets, they easily could have. Yeah, they got Talkman and a few other.
No Yankee, Mike Talkman.
Yeah, another Yankee, right? Oh my gosh, that's the Mets. All the Mets want to do
No
is sign former
Yankee.
Yankees. But they got a few ancillary guys out there that could potentially fill some outfield time for them. But I think purposely they didn't. They did want Tucker, but they just got
That
outbid.
didn't
Simple
work.
as that. But they could have filled in that final outfield position with a more prominent name, a more proven guy. But they didn't because they like Carson Benge. Carson Bench, man, he's done great work. I mean, he's a first-round pick. He played with Nolan McLean at Oklahoma State, and he's really busted through in a short amount of time. I think it was
Yeah,
131
minors,
total
yeah.
minor league games, and he was great. High A Brooklyn, Double A Binghamton, OPS off the charts, in almost 800 in Brooklyn. 978 in Binghamton. Then he fell off when he got to AAA, 583 OPS in Syracuse. But, I mean, this guy put together a great body of work after getting drafted, got a chance in spring training, and he took it. So I'm not, but I feel like the conversation among Met fans right now is that this kid is a star, and then you really pissed me off. He's a star in the making, whatever. I mean, he's not baseball's number one prospect. And you know who was a couple years ago? Jason Dominguez,
And what has he
who
done in the
also
big leagues? What
has
has he
had
done?
an unbelievable.
What has he done in the big leagues besides strike out and make a ton of errors in left field?
The thing with Dominguez, everybody undervalued. If he was not good, the defense is a massive concern.
Nightmare. It is a nightmare in left field.
He's been a nightmare in left field. That you saw it on display throughout the regular season last year. He had key drops.
Left field, Matt.
Against the Mets, I think at Citi Field, he had a really bad one.
Yeah, like 4th of July weekend, like he just misread two balls terribly.
He had a bad 4th of July weekend at Citi Field. Tampa Bay, he cost them a game out there with his defense. There's no doubt about it. I have nothing to defend on his defense. But everybody wants to write him off already when last year I should have the numbers pulled up right in front of me. He had an above average major league season by most offensive metrics, and he played more than 100 games. I know he got his job taken away from him in the last few weeks of the season.
He got his job taken. He wasn't that good then.
I'm not saying he was great, but everybody who doesn't pay attention to the Yankees or whatever wants to act like his first season with the Yankees was a complete disaster, and it was from left field. But from a hitting standpoint, the reason he got his job taken away from him had honestly less to do with his play and more to do with Trent Grisham had an 874 OPS and hit 34 home runs, and he had to play him.
Became Barry Bonds.
You had to play him. And you know what? Trent Grisham's back. $22.5 million qualifying offer. He's our everyday center fielder. He's presumably the leadoff hitter, and the job is his until he loses it there, which I don't necessarily agree with. I'm fine with him coming back, but he shouldn't be batting leadoff. He was fucking horrible batting leadoff in the postseason.
Then who should bat leadoff?
I would bat Bellinger leadoff. I think he's a great table setter. He gets on base a lot.
I'd rather still have him hit behind Judge.
I get that protection for Judge and everything, but I would
put
clutch Bellinger as a lefty.
Player ever, Aaron Judge.
Rice also hit leadoff a little bit last year.
Rice should be the leadoff hitter. He's not bad. He gives you pop at the top of the lineup, and he doesn't strike out that much.
He doesn't strike. He's got a more keen eye than Grisham. You don't bat a leadoff. I don't care what
this day and age, leadoff hitters aren't your
splits or this or that. You know, you can in today's major leagues, you can have your leadoff guy have pop and be a 30-plus home run guy. I'm not saying it has to be the fastest guy on your team that gets on base the most and makes the most contact. It doesn't have to be as traditional as it used to be. We all understand that. Ultimately, you want your leadoff guy. You want your leadoff guy. You want to be the guy that gets the most at bats for you over the course of a game, or the second guy. You could say your two hitter. You want that because Soto and Judge hit second respectively for their teams. But you want a guy that you want up a lot, the most.
Yeah.
So for me, that's Bellinger.
Runners on base that they're going to drive in runs, like your Judges and your Sotos of the world. Yeah, I totally get that. But there's no way Trent Grisham should be a leadoff hitter this year.
I'm in lockstep with you on that.
He has, throughout his career, been mid at best. Has one fluke year.
Yeah, I think
we can call it a fluke.
Yeah, I listen. Do I anticipate Grisham to replicate what he did last year from an offensive standpoint, to hit another 34 home runs and have as many clutch moments as he did? No. You have to, when you look at a player, you can't look at 1 year. You have to take minimum a 4 or 5 year sample size, what they've done for a long time. And that was part of the, Bellinger decision too. Well, a couple of years ago, he got non-tendered not too long ago and this and that.
Dodgers just let him go.
Ultimately, you bring him back, which I'm pleased with. But you have to look at these for players. And for Grisham's case, he was an abysmal hitter for most of his career.
Unless he played the Mets during the postseason, he's like, so I'm going to become Barry Bonds. That 1 year, too, he decided to become Barry Bonds at the plate.
So it's something to keep in mind. I do agree with you there. But getting back to the Dominguez versus Benge argument or whatever, I would still classify it as Jason Dominguez has a better chance of being a better major league player than Carson Bench.
But Carson Bench is also yet to play a major league game. And it's also, hey kid, welcome to the big leagues. Here's Paul Skeens in your first game.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you hit pretty damn well in 14 spring training games, but you got a different animal coming at you on opening day this year.
Yeah, here's reigning Cy Young winner Paul Skeens. Have fun.
Right, yeah, no, that's a daunting matchup. But then after Paul Skeens,
watch him go yard in his first at bat.
Yeah,
watch the rookie luck.
Yeah, you never know, man. I mean, I remember, Aaron Judge and Tyler Austin. It wasn't
they went back in their first game. You never know. But that's just fruit for thought. We'll see what happens. I think Jason Dominguez actually has to prove it this year.
The interesting thing about Jason Dominguez is that
the tools are there. He just hasn't put them together.
The tools are absolutely there. And I'll make two really quick points on him, then we'll wrap. Number one, you got to feel badly for him, not only because of, he really was not a bad hitter last year throughout the year. On any normal team, he keeps his job and he plays near 162 games. But, the Yankees had a surplus of outfielders, and he was the odd man out. He was playing the worst, but which wasn't bad. So you feel bad for the kid in that sense, only at 23 years old, or maybe 22 years old. And coupled with that, and you go into this offseason, and if you're retaining Bellinger and Grisham, now it's either, honestly,
no room for him unless you're going to have.
If you're retaining both Bellinger and Grisham, the logical thing to do is ship them off for either a blue chip starter
his value is still high,
or to fill another need and get another high-quality asset on the team. That's probably what you do. But the Yankees, they bring back Bellinger and Grisham, and there's really nowhere for Dominguez to be. So that's why they'll probably
DH.
He's probably going to start in the minors, dude. I mean, that's probably what's going to happen.
That could be the best thing for him, though. Reset, figure everything out, and then come back up.
I hear you. Yeah, we'll see.
Speaking of that, do you have any idea if Jonah Tongi's starting with the Mets or he's going back down to AAA? I have no idea. I have no idea where he's going.
I would say because the Mets are starting their season. If they're keeping him on the roster, then they're sticking him in the bullpen, which I don't think they want to do. Because the Mets have already announced they're going with a 4-man rotation. So
not 4. I'm pretty sure it's 6.
6. I haven't mixed up the Yankees. Because they have like 3 days off in their first 10 games, they're starting out with a 4-man rotation.
Yeah, the Mets I think are starting out with 6.
Right. So that's a good question. I don't know. I guess the rosters obviously full.
They're getting finalized.
26-man rosters have not been finalized yet. So we'll see how that shapes out. But listen, Jonah Tong and Jason Dominguez, I think the healthiest thing because you don't want to stunt their development. I mean, if Jason Dominguez comes into the season playing the role that he did the last month of the regular season and into the postseason with, spattered starts, a couple pinch hit appearances here and there, and pinch running mostly, that's detrimental. Absolutely detrimental to his development. You don't want to do that. And you don't want to do it to Tong either. So
yeah, they don't. We'll see what happens. Rosters probably get finalized in the next 2 days.
Right. Well, they have to because we're that close. It's really remarkable how fast baseball season swung around.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Hope that you enjoy a opening day at Citi Field. You go quite often.
I've gone every year but last year.
Like every year of your life?
No, since like 4th grade.
Cool. Yeah.
4th or 5th, like 3rd or 4th grade, one of the two.
Right.
I think the first one was 2015 or 16. Couldn't tell you.
The good old days, right?
Good old days. Yeah, when they went to the World Series.
15, 16.
Yeah,
oh, 16.
When my heart got ripped out of my chest at Citi Field. 10-year-old me is like in tears in left field watching them lose.
Yeah, that was
My heart ripped out of my chest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. I'm excited. It's always a good time going opening day with my dad.
Opening day is, like you said, man, it's a holiday. It's a ton of fun. I hope
best
that
day
you
of the year.
Last. What?
It's the best day of the year.
Absolutely.
Should I try?
And what?
No, nothing. I'll tell you all. I'll tell you off camera.
Yeah, me and you had our junior year. We had a fun opening day.
Yeah,
we saw the debut of Jackson Churio, which was cool.
Yeah, yeah. Funny story we can't tell on camera.
No, we can't tell that. But Paul Nadler dropped a legendary quote.
Line.
He's a generous guy, and he had a great quote.
Generous guy, and he gave us a line of the
line of the ages. That was really funny. And I enjoyed it. Listen, I like my, my watered down whatever. So yeah, that's whatever. We're young, so. But anyway, I have something to tell you off air too.
So let's wrap this up.
All right. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Great episode as always, man. Fired up for opening day. Fired up for the madness to continue this weekend, and we'll talk to you very soon. Thanks everybody.
The Masters in 3 weeks.
And that. Wow.